All right, good morning, folks. It is Thursday, April 16th, 9:30-ish. Our first order of business today is an introduction and a walkthrough on H 956, an act relating to approval of an amendment to the charter of the city of Burlington relating to the Office of Racial Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging. We are going to open up with Representative Stone, our very own member, who is the sponsor of this charter proposal. Rep. Stone, how you doing?
Thanks for having me. Representative Mary Catherine Stone, Chittenden 14, Burlington, for the record. This bill formally approves an amendment to the City of Burlington's charter, which was previously approved by the city's voters on March 3rd, 2026, this town meeting day, to enshrine the Office of Racial Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging, REIB. This office is to be led, the office already exists, but I'm just going to go over the language that the office is to be led by a director of REIB, which will be a permanent position hired according to the city human resources policies, who will report directly to the mayor and be supervised by the city council. The director is responsible for developing and implementing a comprehensive strategy to advance equity, social justice, diversity, inclusion, belonging, and anti-racism within the city of Burlington, including consulting with city departments, recommending policy changes, enhancing representation for underserved communities in city government, and coordinating inclusive constituent engagement. The proposal to enshrine the Office of Racial Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging, which I will now refer to as REIB, because that's a mouthful for me to keep saying, into the Burlington City Charter, actually saw a unanimous 12-0 vote by the City Council to place it on the ballot, which should say something if you've ever watched our City Council meetings on YouTube. The vote was, the yes votes were 4959, 57.08%, and the no votes were 3729, 42.92%. Undervotes 228, overvotes 3. Total ballot cast 8919. The background of this, is this the first time that a city has established an REIB office or initiative into their charter? You may ask. The answer is no. In November 2022, New York City voters approved landmark charter amendments to establish a Commission on Racial Equity and an Office of Racial Equity. In San Francisco, the Office of Racial Equity was created within the Human Rights Commission via an ordinance to ensure city departments develop racial equity action plans. And in Asheville, North Carolina, the Office of Equity and Inclusion was established to prioritize racial and social equity in a formal ongoing capacity. There could be more, but that's just ones that I included that came up during my research last evening. Per the National League of Cities, quote, while many cities have established equity offices via ordinance or executive order, example, Minneapolis in 2017, Oakland and San Francisco in 2019, incorporating them into the city charter provides the highest level of permanence, end quote. Why? Because it provides insulation from political shifting, so it can't be dismantled by future city administrations or during shifts in political climate. It provides institutional accountability, it builds public trust, and it provides senior leadership stability, which is a big argument that I heard from voters about why they supported this. So that is this charter amendment in a nutshell. It's pretty straightforward. This office already exists. The director already exists. It's just to enshrine it to make it a permanent thing.
Rep. Pisnall.
Because you spoke so quickly, could you give me the yays and nays again?
Yep. Yays 4959. Nays 3729.
Thank you.
Rep. Coffin.
I just, for more of curiosity, is, putting in the charter, when was it first put into place? Because you said the REBI was already in place.
Yes.
How long has it been operating? Just out of curiosity.
September 2019.
Oh, okay.
So it's been in there before even the pandemic. So it's kind of, to me, honestly, I was like, oh, I thought this already was a thing, like a permanent position like the other department heads are. So it's more of like just a logistic administrative thing that was on the ballot because the person's already there, they're already directing, but yeah, makes it a more real permanent thing.
I get it. Does that that weighs a lot because it's not like, oh, we implemented it last year. Now we want to put it in, but we don't have any record of how they're doing.
It's been there
But if
for a
they're
while.
been there for, almost 7 years, it's awesome.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much, Representative Stone. Now we'll run through the language of council.
Good morning. Rick Sagel with the Office of Legislative Counsel. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person. Haven't been in your committee for a little bit, but I enjoyed some of the banter before we were live. So,
Leave it right there.
oh yeah, period. So I am covering for my colleague Tucker, who is out on leave. I say that because I am not your charter guy. I am usually commerce, IT, privacy. So this is a relatively new area, but I think Rep Stone did a great job of kind of walking through the history of this specific charter and how it came to be and the implications of actually approving the charter. So she also read through, the pretty short bill. It's really a page and a half of actual charter language. It would create the Permanent Office of Racial Equity, Inclusion and Belonging, REIB for short. It would also establish a director position within that office. The actual language on page, and I'm not going to share my screen unless you need me to, Mr. Chair. It's a pretty
No, we're good.
short bill. Okay. Page 2 of the language in section 374, does set forth some kind of the flow chart of how this is going to work. You have the director who will be in a permanent position, hired according to City of Burlington HR policies, and reports directly to the mayor. And they'll be under supervision of the city council. I'm sorry, the REIB will be under supervision of the director, who will be subject to rules and ordinances of the city council. And really, the other thing I want to point out are the rights and duties that are spelled out in subsection F at the bottom of page 2 and onto page 3. Nothing here that is super that stands out as far as why would this be in the charter. This just appears to me to be clarifying what their duties are, a way for you to check back in to ensure that this office is following the what the job description is basically, that they'll work on behalf of the city to advance equity and social justice, develop, coordinate, implement, and administer racial equity and inclusion strategies for the city, consult and recommend to city departments, the mayor's office, and the city council policy and program changes to better advance racial equity and inclusion in the city. So it would take effect on passage. Happy to answer questions, but again, I think it's a pretty straightforward charter change.
Questions for council? Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, it is pretty straight to the point. I want to stop short at cut and dry. But so I guess our next step committee is figuring out who we want to hear from. I guess we'll start bringing in some folks from the Burlington government apparatus.
Bring in the director of REIB.
Yeah, no, that's something. Yeah, like bring whoever that is in, the city attorney, perhaps Travers or someone else. you know.
Whoever supervises them.
Yeah, so we can start putting that punch list together for the next slug of testimony on this one. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right, cool. This will work. Any other commentary or dialogue on this one before we hit the pause button?
No.
Okay. Council, thank you for your time, sir. We will see you
Yeah.
live 3D at some point. And we'll start teeing up witnesses with that. We're going to hopefully start around 10 a.m. We're going to review some language in miscellaneous agricultural subjects in and around hemp provisions. So they're reviewing that language as we speak. So we will have council here, and I think maybe one or two folks from CCB sit in the gallery, should there be any questions relevant to them. So that's my conversation a little earlier might start a little late, but that's why we baked 45 minutes into it, and we're not rushing this out the door. They don't need it immediately. So
You're not smoking to get it out.
it's not, it's not a flying out or like all lit on fire and embering away. Yes.
I don't know.
Okay.
That came to mind.
Got the TV up there. I could have done better work with that one. Sorry, at this point. With that, you can take us offline, sir.